Loading.
Hello, DJ.
Bang, there it is.
There we are. Hello, DJ Times and everybody watching. Hope everybody is safe and well. Today, the family is grown. For those of you that have seen us before, we've got down. We have to introduce ladies always first. The lovely Jamie from Explosive Events, Jamie Perez, and next to her is my normal co-host, Mr. Jordan Marshall.
What's up? What's up?
Next to me, to my whatever side it is, Mr. Michael Langsner from Haven Sweet Shop, because he knows how much I like ice cream. And then down below me, the newest member of the Homie Spreading Love family, Mr. Jeffrey Scott Gould. So today, for the next 45 minutes, we're just, you know what, it's an open avenue, open forum kind of thing. We're trying to just get the love out and trying to let you guys know what we're doing. And if there's anything that we can help you with, that's what we're here for. And we just want to make sure you're all safe. We know times are tough. We know that this all sucks. And we would love to be with you in Atlantic City, but we are not. So what we're trying to get across today is, what are we doing to make our businesses better? So what do you think? We start with the Jordan man, my co-host, Mr. Jordan.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know what? I appreciate it, Shoni. Thank you. And on top of that too, not only are what are we doing to make our businesses better, thrive, more creative? Obviously, right now it's been a crazy year, and it's hard to think that it's been about a year since we've done anything live. I remember the last time I was out doing anything live. I was just talking with the homie Nate Nelson last night, who did a killer White Claw stream last night. Absolutely awesome stuff. And we were just talking about how we hadn't seen each other since Las Vegas last year at the Photo Expo.
Yeah.
And it's been almost a year, and it's so crazy how things have just kind of spiraled, and the turn of events. And I think that all of us as an industry, as professionals, leaders of our craft, have done a really good job of staying positive. Our DJ crew and community have been very, very tight knit. I feel, as far as the actual work that's going out, it's crazy. But as far as the community and the camaraderie and the relationships and being more aligned, I think that our community and our DJ family has never been more aligned. So that's been great. I've been pushing our business. We've been pushing our business here at Xplosive on the East Coast. As a teamwork fashion, being able to play ideas off of people like Jeff Scott and Nate Nelson and, Joe Bunn, Jason Janai. These guys that are now, at the fingertips now, especially since we're all just trying to, grind together. It's been a great way to kind of tailor some new ideas in and be able to form some new relationships to really help elevate that business. So we've been, cultivating new relationships and just, ready to jump out the gate when everything's up and running in full.
Love it. Love it. The big thing is, we all have to remember, we're all in this together. We may not be we are all in the same storm, but we're not in the same boat. You got to open your mind, stay as positive as you can, no matter what you do, no matter how little the event is. If you're, I hate this word, pivoting, whatever you're doing, make sure if you're pivoting for your entertainment company, just choose to say, I'm enhancing my entertainment towards a brighter future. That, I know it's a long way to put it, but it works. I think Jordan, as you said, we're doing a great job of trying to get it out there with everybody. JSG, one of the greatest minds of all time, as far as I'm concerned. Everything he's done, everything he's doing. And I am absolutely honored to have him as part of this today. And, but remember, guys, everybody that's watching this, we are all in this together. We're not trying to make a buck off of anybody or this or that, the other thing, because truly there isn't that many bucks to take.
Right.
And what we're doing right now, if you will, is putting a Band-Aid on the bleeding for a little bit, but at least we have a Band-Aid to put on it. So, Jeff Scott Gould, please welcome. And take it away, baby boy.
Yeah, so Big Daddy, I hate that word pivot too. To me, honestly, if you think about it, it's just another version of the hustle. It's just another. We're not really pivoting. It's just hustle. It's how hustle 2019 is different than hustle 2020, right? You know what I mean? That's pretty much the way it is. So, if you were hustling before, you're just hustling 10 times as harder this year, and probably 2021 we won't have to hustle as much because we're so busy playing catch up that, you know, you're probably thinking about whatever you're going to do in 2021 to like move forward in 2022 or however that's going to work. But again, it's not, you know, to me, it's not a pivot. I didn't go one way or the other. Like March 15th, everyone in Jersey, that was like the weekend of doom in 2020. That's the last weekend anybody worked in Jersey. We all got shut down. You know, from there, you know, you just looked like, I don't know what's going to happen. So whatever else I was working on as like my side hustle became my main hustle. Right. You know, like everything having to do with like when you go to an event and you put up screens and you're doing media for weddings or bar mitzvahs or corporate, like, you know, you just got to take that and turn it to like, okay, I'm going to do my same media package, but it's going to be in my house or in my living room or in my bedroom to like take it out to the world, you know, in front of the lens as opposed to in front of people. So, I mean, that was me for, you know, whatever, since March 15th, you know, for me, it was just another version of the hustle. That's all it was, you know.
Jeff, to actually tag on to what you're saying, man, that's such a great point. And on top of that, I think that what people have to realize in professionals, if you're still kind of down and like, you're like, man, how am I going to like recharge my batteries? Exactly what you just said is so perfect. And then on top of it is being able to like take that next step. Right now, that hustle that we're all putting in now feels like you said, like it's so much harder than anything we've ever grinded on over the past couple of years. You know, like everybody kind of gets used to the phones ringing and the leads coming in, and all of a sudden March 15th, it's off. And you're like, oh my God, what do I do? So like, I think right now, like as the harder we grind, it's going to come back tenfold once we're good. I mean, like all these new ideas, think about it over the past 6 months, what we've found out that our industry is now capable of. I mean, the streaming alone, like I remember when we first found out how to stream, when you found out how to actually like plug in all your gear and make yourself appear to the world. And now you have, you know, these amazing green screen backgrounds and effects and all the Twitch game that's going on, like the way that it's just kind of leveled up and built itself like really day by day. I mean, I feel like every day there's something new that we're able to incorporate into our arsenal, although it's not the most monetizing, you know, thing right now. You know, I think eventually it's going to come back and give us some really cool stuff in the future, man, with some great new ideas on the table.
You know, can I jump in there for a second?
Yeah,
you know, Jordan, just like the way photo booths were, you know, hot 10 years ago, like, and the technology was new. I think, and now a photo booth is expected at an event. I actually believe the same is really going to hold true for streaming. You know, as all of the DJs perfect the art of it, the craft of it, and, you know, the access to entry of this is becoming easier and easier. I think that streaming at events is going to become a normal thing. Right? You know, who knows what travel is going to look like for a very long time. So it's a really cool way to, you know, help bring guests to an event that may not be able to be there.
Agreed. The big thing is absolutely, Mike. The thing is, you're going to notice, and I was watching this at a couple of whatever, you're going to notice smaller events, more intimate events, if you will, outside ones a lot more than you have. Like Jeff was talking before about opening up an entire wall of an event space to make it like an outdoor space. The one thing you got to, yes, the hustle is there. You got to hustle 20 times more than you did before just to stay in the game. Because if you're not going to say yes, somebody else will 3 seconds later. And the hustle that you're doing right now, for me, I'm 188 years old. And I'm still, I just booked into 2023. And somebody goes, how do you do that? I said, because when I go, and this is the one thing you got to remember, you would go there at 100%. Any of your events that you're doing right now, whether it be streaming, whatever, how big or how little they are, you've got to give 250% because there's not going to be as many people there. And the people you have to impress less people, which means hopefully more business for you. And your streaming stuff has got to be amazing. But everything you're doing, no matter what, no more of this poor, pitiful me. We lost another event. That's over. My friends, that is over because we're all losing events. We're all changing events. You have to be, however you're handling yourself now, right now, online, social media, everything else, you are going to benefit more by being positive than being, Make sense?
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say somebody like Jamie. So like somebody like it's such a great story for me. Like going into this, the whole, you know, March 15th, and everything's shutting down. This girl went into, the quarantine, event planning, running our photo booth, division, and being a great dancer and logistics. But she came out of the quarantine, so to speak, a better performer. Like, she learned to DJ in the 6 months that we were locked down. You know what I mean? Like this past Monday night, I don't know if we just had her, DJing a full-on event in front of some of the biggest planners in New York and New Jersey, overlooking the New York City skyline. Like that's something for me as one of the guys who put a bunch of hard work into making sure that she was drilled properly and learned it properly and kind of had a respect for the craft. Like watching her rip that the other day, it was like being a proud father. You know what I mean? So just seeing somebody like that who never says no, and just is like, okay, cool, let me try that. Let me figure out how to make that happen and roll with it, has made our life super easy. And it's also, it's created a whole new avenue of business for her. You know what I mean? So something like that is just cool to see kind of spiral. And if you're not taking that kind of attitude, I mean, I don't know what you're thinking.
Thank you.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that too, Jordan, what Big Daddy said, I think what you put out on social media, whether it's been this year or the year before, is what, and obviously I say social media because for us in the DJ industry, I think that's our biggest way to advertise and showcase and put out your portfolio and all that stuff. So whether it's last year or this year, what you're putting online is pretty much what you should expect to get back. You know what I mean? So during this whole whatever shut down, if you disappeared online, I mean, obviously your business disappears in that avenue, right? So whether you were just streaming and putting out little clips of that or just showing hey, this was 2019, these are great events, I can't wait for 2021, or whatever you're doing, however small your event was, you whatever you put out there is what you're going to expect to get back. So even for now, people say, no, I'm losing an event. If you're off on that day, you should be putting out some kind of content on that day anyway to let people know that, hey, this Xplosive, although we're not doing that, we're doing virtual mitzvah showcases, or we're, whatever the stuff we're doing, because people are still planning regardless. Just because we shut down in 2020 doesn't, I mean, yeah, I put my head in the sand for a little while too, because I was like, what the fuck is he going? For a minute you're like, okay, holy crap, let me regroup, let me do, and then you figured out the plan, But I mean, I'm a super half glass full person anyway, so I mean, I take a lot of that stuff in stride. But what you said, Big Daddy, is so true. And Jordan, same thing. You got to be put, you got to put it out, because you're not going to get it back if people can't see it, no matter what's going on.
I also want to add that you can't just have one pivot. Everything evolved. As crazy as it is, we're in month 8 of this right now. Our first pivot, well, the first thing was, how do we just deal with the clients and the reschedules? Then when we realized we're in this for some time, it feels like an eternity ago, but we did all these virtual graduations. It was unheard of. Nobody was doing virtual graduations. And then there was a quick Hail Mary. How do we help these schools that would have been our clients for proms or project graduations? What can we do to still earn their money? And all of a sudden we were doing virtual graduations. It was a whole new market for us. And that was great. Got us through June. In fact, it was very helpful for the month of June. Then there's no graduations, July, August, and now school year started back up. So now what? As we're getting ready for the holiday season, I've been very successful with virtual game shows. We had just 3 last week, and a few more coming up. And the booking season right now is here for that. The corporates are looking for something to do.
Something different that they can do, that they don't have to go to a party place for.
Right.
And I've hooked myself up with couple of amazing magicians doing the online Zoom call, stuff like that. Amazing. Santa Claus stuff for drive-by Santa Claus, the snow globes, this, that, the other thing. Drive-in movies. There is so much out there. The thing is, you got to put the work in. You got to put the time in, because if you don't, you're going to be left behind now. And for me, as I rise off into the sunset within the next 30 or 40 years, sorry.
That'll make it 238.
That'll make me almost Fred Flintstone. But watching the people that I have that are here with me today on this, watching this on a day-by-day basis, and I know I'm a pest because I text everybody all the time. I call everybody as much as I can. I am so proud of everything that you guys are doing. You got Dylan, the other gentleman in Xplosive, who is just rocking it as a new dad and rocking it also with the virtual stuff. Jeff, watching your stuff is just like, oh my God. If I had two of you, I couldn't even equal one of you. But, that's what you guys got to open your eyes, folks. There is so much in front of you now that if you don't take advantage, number one, as Jordan said, with Jamie learning her craft more. As an MC, I'm watching everybody. I'm getting nuggets every day of what more not to do than what to do. And it's helped a lot. And, you just got to open your heart because, yes, one thing, don't be complaining about customers online because it's not going to help you. It's going to hurt you more than anything else, because we're all dealing with that kind of thing. Well, I've rescheduled this thing 3 times. I think you should give me my money back. Leave that offline. That's between you and that client. That's not for you and 10 other thousand people thinking you're being the big, strong person. Oh, yeah, this is how I handle my clients. Well, this is how you're going to handle your clients for the rest of your life because there ain't going to be no clients coming your way. Make sense?
It makes perfect sense. There's no room for negativity. And Jamie, I want to bounce back to you because Jordan he kind of shed light on a topic that was kind of secretive. All of a sudden, you went from dancer and coordinator Jamie to DJ Jamie. Like, what was that process like? And how did you practice? Did you have a routine or regimen? And at what point did you feel comfortable coming out and doing it?
So I've always wanted to learn it. It just seemed a little intimidating, but look at everything else I've accomplished, in the 4 years that I've been here and everything that I've already learned and have been able to excel at. So I'm like, you know what? We have the time. We just set it up in the kitchen and right on the island. That was our studio. I put uplights around the kitchen just to give myself a little bit of a vibe. And we really just kind of sat down and he just kind of taught me, the basics, and he did a really good job.
And she's smart too, man. Like, she's so easy to teach. So that made it really easy for me. Like, she takes information really, really well. And she also realizes that there's a huge market for a female DJ right now.
Huge.
Like,
especially a female DJ that can speak Spanish.
Oh yeah,
and that's another thing too. I was able to host a bilingual wedding over this
big
period of whatever this is called right now, which was huge.
Just think about that for Xplosive, like in 2020, to be able to say that, yeah, like whatever going on, we're expanding our roster. Like to be like that alone, like you take that, you just take like just the Jamie point and think about 15 other posts you could do on that. Well, that alone, like literally, like. You could stretch that out, and that's just one person added to the roster. So like for everyone, I mean, I know there's so much you can put out. Like, oh, last year was great, can't wait for next year. But the fact that you have that, like you have like the Jamie thing to put out in 2020 was going on, like that. I mean, that's huge. I mean, obviously it's what you wanted to do, but the positive result or side part of it is that like it's just another great advertising, a great push, a great positive. Like that's awesome. Like you can't buy stuff like that for 2020.
I asked this question to our staff in an email, and now I'm kind of upset myself because it was a couple months ago. But I said,
why? Because nobody wrote back to us.
Probably. What was the question? It was, look back and what have you accomplished during the quarantine, and what do you want to accomplish? And Jamie, you're coming out with a trophy because you've accomplished several things. I'm.
Hey, wait a minute. He gets more than a trophy.
Yes. I opened up a whole other business during this time. For people to sit home and be miserable, it doesn't get you anywhere. And you're going to look back a year later and say, well, 2020 sucked. It sucked for all of us. But some of us have positives as well.
Even for Jeff, I was gonna say even for Jeff too. Like, I mean, like, dude, like you were known for, ripping what 6 events a weekend, like door to door, Friday through Sunday, like couldn't breathe, like never had a day off. Like, be like, yo, like you want to grab a drink? Or like, I'm free in like 3 months. And now all of a sudden, it went the other way. But dude, like you've still been working. Like you're one of the guys that I think probably now through SE and through your brand, you're going out. You guys are streaming for everybody, streaming for other like venues, streaming for other companies. Like guys, like this is so great. Like Jeff was literally able to like, you know, swallow his own pride, maybe take the SCE name off of something and back up another professional as just to help them look great and still make money on his end, you know, make the company look awesome. Like guys, like that's what it's all about. Like being able to kind of like, you know, rechannel yourself and say, how can I still bring great content to the industry? And dude, like hats off to you, man, because you're still out multiple times a weekend and making money, like real money. So when it's not there, when it's not just happening right now. So
well, I mean,
really
dude,
good.
like when I joined SC, that's like one of the things like you know, Jason who owns SC, like that's like to watch the way he builds relationships, you know, and that's a good thing about our company, about SE too, because like when this hit, you know, just stuff I learned like when I joined SE and like how Jason, you know, like I know a lot of people know me as the guy that comes out and shoots for Jason and like I'm a side guy, we shoot travel events and stuff, but yo, I have all that in my pocket.
Hey,
so
you were always our number one first, bro. You were always the number one, man.
Yeah.
Move.
But I'm just saying, like when this hit, like I just used the relationships. Like I just like opened up the reason I think I was able to like make some and work and whatever. It was like small little stuff or whatever, working 10 times as hard as we normally do, but just using those relationships to be able to call up people like you guys know Ray Sarinsky, for example, you know, a friend of mine from Jersey, but he also runs a lot of these like really nice properties, and he was able to give me like these vibe dining events. And I got in on streaming super early. I got TGI Fridays, one of these places in there, and I knew like, yo, I'll do it free for 3 months, and then as soon as we're allowed to go to dining, like I want to be there, and I did. I put in the work, and then as soon as they were allowed to do outdoor dining in Jersey, I was the DJ outdoor dining, you know, like, and then, you know, I'm driving up to Rhode Island based on some relationships up here, like some of these like mansions in Newport that remember us from last year. And I'm just emailing them, hey, I do streaming. Hey, I do streaming. If you guys do these little 18-person weddings, and I'm driving up 4 hours to do a stream, then driving back. But, you know, I just think it's like, I know Big Daddy, you started, you said, right, let's talk about what we're grateful for. I got to say, I got to be grateful for like this circle here, you know, that I've known for a long time. And the circle that I built when I joined SE, because like these relationships, honestly, like if you couldn't find something to do, then you were never building relationships from before this all hit.
Amen.
You know what I mean? Even small relationships, like, you know, like I would go out and do anything for anybody for $50 or for whatever, because in 2020, $50 was $200, you know? Like,
Yeah.
You know, it really was. And I mean, I know, you know, I used to watch this, usually busboy, you know, like I know like what is the grind and do whatever. So I know it's a long-winded answer, but I think it had to be said. Like, you know, relationships are like, that's what got me through a lot of this. Even like what you said, for you, if you guys didn't have a relationship with those schools, there's no way they would have trusted you to be like, oh yeah, we're going to give you like this amount to like do some event that you guys never did virtually. You know, the fact that they trust your brand and you can be like, yo, because you guys are known for like doing just crazy shit. You guys like, you know, like, oh yeah. And then, you know, like we can do this. And like, I just told this client we have to do this. We have to figure it out.
Yeah, now we got to figure it out. Yeah.
That's
where Mike comes in.
No.
But you guys deliver on it. So the fact that you use that past relationship and what you guys built, Xplosive can tell these schools and families, be like, oh yeah, we could stream that. We can do that. We can whatever. We can make an elephant pop on Zoom, whatever you guys need, you know?
Yep.
So I think it's a testament to relationships. So if you take anything out of you know, this conversation, you can just see what's going on in these 4 squares, you know?
That's it.
You know
That's
what?
the big thing. You're right, Jeff.
Jeff, you just kind of reminded me, but using your relationships and the people that you know and the people that you trust, it's amazing the things that an entertainment company could get involved in. In just 2 weeks ago, our company was hired to video and produce the production end of a very somber event. It was an event to raise awareness for a organization that helps battered women. And, you know, here we are as a company that's normally celebrating, and we're live and we're loud and we're, you know, energetic. This video that our company produced through some of our partnerships was more of like a Sarah McLachlan, like mellow, somber thing. But you know what? Like, it was an event that we did in the month of October that we wouldn't have had. And again, I hate the word pivot too, but it was income, and it was something to keep us busy. And you know what? our videographer, who we outsourced, fully admitted, we outsourced to a videographer. He was appreciative that we called him, and it just strengthens the relationship. So yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, that's the thing. For me, my relationship with all of my venues that recommend us, James Daniel and myself, I'm not just calling them about business. I'm calling to make sure, because that's what I do. How's the family? If there's anything I can do, I've delivered food to people, whatever the case may be, because at the other end of this, when they are allowed to open up, they're going to remember that what we did for them. You got to do that. And Jeff, you're right. I mean, relationships right now are more important than anything. Yeah, we can all do weddings. Listen, guys, we all have the same speakers, maybe different brands, whatever. Dry ice, this, that, the other thing. But do we have this? And the heart that you have working, Jeff's in Rhode Island now. He's driving back to Jersey tomorrow. Then he's driving back up to Rhode Island. My friends that are listening and watching out there, this man is the man right here. I'm telling you.
That's the grind.
Right now.
Snaps for Jeff.
That's the grind. And he's doing it in crap weather. And crap weather today.
Yeah, and crap weather. And if you guys don't think you can do this, then you're in the wrong business. It's all about heart. And people right now are at an all-time low, if you will. Our job, no matter what, just from a phone call, from an email, from a FaceTime, whatever, our job is to make them feel better. And what Jordan and Jamie are doing with their stuff, Mike, you're enhancing your monetary. It's not pivoting. You're just enhancing the monetary for the family. With the ice cream shop and everything else you're doing, and JSG, everything you guys out there, listen to these people. Become friends with them on Facebook, watch them on YouTube, whatever the case may be. Because if you want to think outside the box and learn more and more and more about what we're going to need for 2021 and beyond, is in 3 of these 4 squares. Done. Because I'm just the guy that's going to yell at you and tell you I love you. Or throat punch if you don't do something right. But
we need all that at certain points in our life.
We all need a wake-up call. My friends, think of this as your wake-up call from Jersey, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. Done.
For 2021, man, this is great. This is what it's all about. We're nearing the year end. It's coming back around. And I really do think that once that new year hits and, we're fresh out the gate, it is going to be a hard reset. And I think that people are just going to be like, no, I refuse to let this year do what last year did. And I think people are just going to be shot out of a cannon from January 1. And, whether the shows that you see are, because, everybody getting engaged, all the bar and bat mitzvah dates are out, whether it's a virtual show or whether it's something live that we're able to do. I do think that there are going to be, people are going to be paying a lot more attention, and I think their senses are going to be heightened. Not that they weren't before all this happened, but I think there's a new appreciation for being able to get out of your house and being able to actually have an event and being able to be around people. So I really do think that it's going to spark some new interest in really planning these events, regardless of what they are, and that people are just going to be really paying attention even more. So if you're ready to go, from day one, I really think you're going to be able to take it and bring the attention more towards you in your market and just level yourself up.
And no matter what, you have to be just as excited as you were 2 years ago or last year about the event, no matter how big or how small it is. You have to be twice as excited for them as you were before.
Correct.
And Big Daddy, something about small events too. You never know who's sitting there. I can't tell you how many small events I've done where there's that one person that sits in the corner and watches you, and then they come out afterwards and you're like, holy crap, that person was sitting there. I got that. I mean, some of the big events I've ever gotten have been from like a showcase or something small.
Then just email him like, hey, do you want to come to our wedding in Ireland? And they're like, oh my God.
Right. It's crazy stuff. Like you just don't know.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about a small event.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah. You got to treat every event like a Saturday night. You have to. It's just like
straight up.
It is.
Straight up.
For sure.
Very cool.
All right. For 2021 is pretty much going to be catch up, as we said in the beginning, for 2020. And then we flow into 2022 as the next quote unquote moneymaker, whatever the case may be. what's going to be your strategy to make 2021 because we're all going to be slamming. My family, I'm going to be waving goodbye to them in March, just before the newest baby hits, grandbaby number 6, because I've got way too many events and everything else. And yes, I will be bringing a roadie. Yes, I'll be bringing this, that, the other thing. I'm going to bring more value for the buck that they're getting than they were before, because I need to do that for my heart as well as my client. Like last Saturday night, I did a wedding for 48 people. 48. You'd have thought they all wore masks, everything was compliant. They danced with masks on, everything else. I will book 4 weddings, 2 from up here and 2 from down in Maryland, because of what we gave them. It wasn't a 48-person event. It was a 250-person event as far as I'm concerned, because that's what you got to go. Your mindset's got to be that when you go there, because those are few and far between right now. Right. The micro weddings are 10 to 12, 20 people, whatever it is. You've got to be on point no matter how big or how small the event is.
So
strategy.
Sean, I'm going to take your question and give you 2 answers. For 2021, yes, I think Xplosive needs 2 things. And 1 is a refreshed identity, and 2 is a refined approach. We're taking this time now.
Got it. Makes sense.
And cleaning up everything that we do. And we early on, we said, trimming the fat. That was an expression that a lot of people used. And this time has forced that to happen, for our company, for other companies. A very good friend of ours, I won't mention his name, was calling me the other day, and he's lost a bunch of people on his staff that just didn't have the passion for it anymore and went out and found other careers. So, it's time for us as a brand or as a family, as a friendship, to all refine, our identities. How are we going to lead into 21? Is there a new female DJ on the staff? Hi, Jamie. Are we going into events with virtual services built in? What is our new approach for 2021? And then refining it too. We did so many things. Now we know what we're really good at. We also know what items weren't helpful. This is like something as silly as cubbies. We used to rent out cubbies. They would go out at bar bat mitzvahs. We decided, we don't want to do them anymore. As we were downsizing our warehouse, it was pretty obvious if we got rid of the cubbies, it would save so much warehouse space. When you look back and think about how much effort went into this one product, it really wasn't worth it. So that's an item that we're refining our approach. In 2021, I'm sorry, we're not offering cubbies, but we've got other things to replace it with. And I think that's the mindset that everybody should kind of take and look back. What works, what doesn't work, and how you're going to apply what you've learned through these 8 months to next year.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. And Mike, between Mike and Big Daddy, for both of you guys, same thing. So for SEE, we're doing the same thing, like refining more of our behind the scene processes to make stuff more streamlined. And then Mike, for you, what I'm doing personally too is the same thing. There's a lot of stuff that, when this all happened, I had 2 separate warehouses, something for my trailers, something for my gear. I got rid of both, and I found partners that I can still offer some of the same services that I wanted to, but same thing, I wasn't doing it enough. So I found people in my area that I can still tell the client, yeah, I offer it. On the back end, I don't have to store it, I don't have to do the work. I make a little less on it, but there's no headache, and I can still offer that, And then going forward for 2021, there's a bunch of ideas I have, and I think it's gonna be a benefit to the clients, because I think I want to give them more than what they paid for to showcase it. So my idea is going into, because we're gonna be so crazy. I have Monday weddings and Wednesday weddings, so I think I'm gonna be so busy anyway. But if I could take some of these items that I don't have any footage of, and tell the client, tell the client, hey, I have it in the truck. I'm just going to put it out for you guys. Yay. Back end for me, there's always the purpose. I'm going to have footage by the end of the week, if I'm doing 4 weddings, I can have, enough clips to show this, to sell it. So that's my 2021 plan, is take my new ideas, kind of give it away to create the product, to be able to sell it,
And Jeff, I think something is going to apply for everybody listening. The sales process has now changed. Before, you used to you'd wait in your office and somebody would come and they'd be at your office for an hour and a half, and or you'd get in your car, you drive an hour to somebody's house, you sit there for an hour. A sales appointment was 3 hours, plus you'd have to get dressed up and this and that. Now it's Zoom has made online appointments the norm, and I don't think that's going away at all.
100%.
No,
definitely
you're right.
Correct.
So the sales process should be quicker and streamlined because of the technologies that are now accepted. Jeff, I know you used to do FaceTime appointments all the time prior to this, but it still wasn't the norm. You were like trying to push the envelope, make it into the norm, but now it is the norm.
Good.
You were going to say, no, Jeff, really quick, just because Mike hit the nail on the head. The cool part is it's not even that it's the new norm for everybody. It's that it's being accepted by the clients. Like the clients are actually like, I remember like we'd get a new enhancement or something new that we brought to the table, and we try, so hard to bring it to their attention, how to look at it. And they're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe it's for me. Maybe it's not. Because there was no other choice for 6 months. It's actually accepted. And like, you can definitely streamline your date book and your appointments. And really, like, for the first time, I'd say in probably 5-6 years, it's actually coming back onto us. Like, we can literally like streamline our process, and maybe it's a little bit more, a relaxed process for us.
So Jamie, you do a lot of the coordination for Xplosive. Prior to COVID, almost every client wanted to meet in person for what we call our finals.
Yep.
Roughly how long was a final appointment?
Weddings were, it would depend. Like sometimes they kind of already know and that everything's already filled out and they don't have a lot of questions. I can get a final done in 20 minutes. Sometimes it would take an hour. Sometimes it would take an hour and a half.
And
really
now
how prepared they were.
In the last 8 months, have you done any in-person finals?
No.
So you just proved the point that we don't have to do that any longer. We used to always push for finals to be over the phone because it really was taxing on our staff to do in-person finals, especially if the MC had to drive in and sit with the coordinator, or sometimes the MC DJ coordinator all sitting together in a room, and you're talking an hour or two of each person. You're talking 6 man hours combined sometimes put into a quick appointment that could have been 30 minutes on Zoom. So we've streamlined this process inadvertently. It wasn't planned. It just kind of happened.
And Jeff, you were going to say something. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to say, even with the Zoom appointments, I find now that like just watching, I always, like Mike, got to get showered, got to get ready, got to go on an appointment. I find out my Zoom appointments, like my clients, like literally, like just got off the treadmill. There was like a dude just got out of the shower. There's like another one. They literally had a box of wine sitting on the, so like now, like even my Zoom appointments, like I don't even shower for them. I mean, my initial appointment's totally different than any other appointment. Your initial appointment, like, I still like might wear a hat, whatever. And like the content, the way I set up my Zoom appointments, I try to make it as close to being into an office in terms of like my background and my mic and stuff. But all the other appointments, I can't believe how much more laid back they are. Cause I feel like since people have had all this time off, and people like literally probably went 7-8 days without showering because they were out of work. They didn't have to see anybody. They didn't like, I didn't cut my hair for 4 months. So I think at this point, right?
I showered.
Like at this point, that's another beautiful thing about Zoom appointments is that I think they're just more chill too. And you're still,
yes. And for the client too, the clients are now like, if you get a client like that, Jeff, you got somebody with a box of wine off the treadmill, like they're comfortable. So I bet you if you went back and reworked your numbers, you're probably actually closing more. And like, just because they're so comfortable. Think about a client having to get dressed up, come out to our office. They're like, oh man, it's like I'm walking in on a doctor's office. This is intimidating.
Yeah.
Pictures on the wall. What am I going to get sold? They're in their element. They're in their comfort zone. Like the sale at that point should be, at least a little bit more
much
of a layup,
easier. Much easier.
Yeah. That's definitely a positive,
Yep.
If you were, doing it from your own house, like you're letting these people into your home. These people are letting you into their home. So it just feels so much more real a little bit than exactly. They come to the office and they see like crazy stuff all over the walls, and
it's intimidating.
It is.
You know what?
We're a different breed of people, but for some people it could be intimidating.
I can't believe that we're actually going in this direction with this conversation because it wasn't planned, but I actually believe that Zoom appointments, they're truly focused, whereas again, in the mitzvah world, we used to have to go to people's homes, and mom would sit you down at the kitchen table. You start your appointment, but hold on one second. Let me just go flip the food in the oven, or the kid is doing homework and needs help. Like, that's all gone. If you think about it, we haven't had that experience. Now you're literally dialed in face to face on a computer screen, and you have their undivided attention. And now with screen sharing and everything, it is so easy to show your videos and your pictures. And oh my God, it's great. You don't have to go to somebody's house and try to find out their Wi-Fi. Like those days are
there's accountability more, like being on time. Like when you would be driving to like a family appointment, like there's traffic.
An hour and a half up north.
Yeah, now it's like
trying to find parking.
You're in and you're out, you're on it. And plus too, like, I think it holds everybody more accountable, like a client comes in, they check into the room, when they have their link and they see you there and you're ready to rock and roll. Like, that feels good. It's like, yo, this guy was waiting for me, like, that's cool. Like, they were so excited to get it rolling. Like, like they're already here. So I think that the ability to be doing this, through the computer and through, the beauty of streaming is just, it's next level stuff. And it's great to see that's where we're headed.
Seminar. I mean, Sean, you were going to drive down from Connecticut. We're all going to sit together.
Yeah.
And, look at how much time we all managed to save. And we could do this. This is as real as it gets anyhow.
Yeah, it is. You know what?
I mean, I'm not getting ice cream right now, but it's.
I know.
And I'm not getting Big Daddy hugs
at the ice cream store.
I love my Big Daddy hugs.
Yeah,
Shawnee, you know what? We got about 5 minutes left, dude. Final thought. Let's kick it around one more time
for the last 5 minutes. All right. You guys start. I'll finish. Go.
All right. Well, so you know what? Honestly, 2020 has been such a crazy year. I've found more for me personally, like it's been a great adjustment for my brand personally, but Xplosive as well as like Jordan Marshall rolled all into one. I think it's been a great learning year. It's been a great experience to pull new relationships. The virtual streaming, awesome. We got to make sure that is like in the I know that like we've been talking about the whole time, that's going to be in the forefront of our design now. And I'm really, really excited for that. I think that people need to, you got to keep your head up. You got to keep plugging, like you were saying, before too, make the relationships, reach out. 3 of the 5 people on this have our handles right on the screen for you. So, if you have any questions about any of this, whether it's mitzvah, wedding, private event of any kind, corporate, any excuse to have a good time, it could be a funeral, and you just want to figure out a better way celebration of life to deliver, something awesome to somebody special. Like, we want to help you. I think that's really the big takeaway is that the people here on this screen right now and everybody that's tuning into, this digital seminar and the, over the past couple of days, you want to make yourself better. You want to level up. You want to put in the work and the time. And we're all here. And I think now there's no better time than to, reach out and talk to those people that you haven't had an opportunity to. Maybe you're like, oh man, I don't want to, they might be busy. I don't want to interrupt them. Making the contacts, leveling up virtually, and pushing yourself and saying, you know what, like, what am I capable of? Like, those are my top 3 things that I definitely take that, roll with that. And that's going to be the 2021 process for me.
Jamie?
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like the whole time everybody's just been, saying, hitting the nail on the head, as Jordan likes to say. For me personally, obviously I want to continue to, work on my DJ skills and all that good stuff. But I'm really focusing on the coordination side, for day of. I've been booking myself a lot as a day of coordinator, which is really cool. It's actually what I enjoy the most. Obviously being a dancer has a shelf life. I'm not getting any younger here and my back's not feeling any better these days. So that's just going to eventually dwindle. As much as I love that aspect of being a performer, I'll still be an MC, I'll still be a DJ. So I think just going a little more on the back end of it than being so much the face of it is really where I'm going to be heading. But I'm excited.
Jeff.
So for me, 2020, I think I definitely learned how to like refocus my hustle. I think I was always hustling. I'm always a hustler, but I feel like I learned to like really focus my hustle in the areas that matter and let other people hustle for me in the areas that don't matter. and use them underneath me. I think I learned that a lot.
Delegate.
Delegate, yeah.
Definitely delegate. And delegating services. A lot of that stuff had to be me trying to learn and do everything. So I've learned to focus on focus on my strengths and let other people help me out on my weaknesses. I learned that that was a huge thing for 2020. I made more relationships in 2020 than probably in the past 10 years. The fact that just what Twitch alone did for me, to be able to talk to like all these superstar DJs that I've never, just even people that are local, like in the Bay Area or Arizona or wherever, or Florida, that I would never have contact to, knowing now that I can literally drive across the country and probably couch surf and never pay for a hotel room, of all the relationships. Knowing that if I want to up my travel game, I have so many contacts to do that. So I think for me, the biggest takeaway is how I learned to refocus my hustle. Because I think from that, it's making everything kind of fall into place, which is going to, take me into 2021 and beyond.
And beyond. Candyman, what do you got?
I mean, the big point of today was relationships. And I think what I've done in my relationships this year is realized how strong some of them are. And Jeff, a lot of people don't know, you and I DJed together for almost 10 years. We shared a DJ booth at a nightclub. And, now we may work for competitors, but we're still so super tight. And we can bounce ideas off of each other. And, Sean, I met you about 10 years ago now, and you're my boy, so I've leveraged my relationships, but I think what I wanted to hit on right now is that I've also gotten rid of any negative forces. There were a good handful of people around me that were negative, and I just realized I can't have them around me anymore. Snip. Thanks, Jay.
Smoke out the haters. Nate
out.
Nelson style.
Yeah. You know what? There's enough negative BS going on in this world right now. I don't need people to bring me down, and this goes business and friends. I mean, I have a close friend that every time I talk to him, it was just negative. I honestly, I cut him out.
Left the conversation, more down than you entered. Usually when you talk to your friends, you leave more upbeat.
Right. So, again, you guys keep talking about this candy and ice cream store. I decided to do something. I decided to open up a new business, and now I'm looking for new relationships in this industry. And I'm learning who to surround myself with here too. It's amazing the wealth of information that people will give you just out of a friendship, just by doing the right thing. So learn who your friends are, learn who you want in your life, and cut those out that are just bringing you down. You don't need it.
And the fact that candy shop is a direct crossover into private events, that's secondary. Yes. We can cross that candy right onto the plane, baby. We're good to go.
Oh, yeah. And the ice cream. Oh, definitely. Well, as we finish this up, I need to say thank you to all four of you. You know how much you all mean to me. A couple of the things that I've learned this year, because I have been nothing. My family will be my family has always been number one, but I've never had the time to enjoy that family because of what I do for everybody else. This year I've taken more time with that family, and my relationships with not only my sons and daughter-in-laws, who I absolutely adore and am so very proud of, my grandkids, they are my life, they are my why. But as that pertains to my business, you guys right here are my reason why. Because without watching what you guys are doing and listening and talking, and my friends that are out there that are listening and watching this, whenever you do, never take advantage of the people that are there to help you. We are all here to help you. If you want to be negative, you're talking to the wrong fella, because I've had a lot of losses this year. I've had a lot of personal losses. As a matter of fact, in a little while, I'll be saying goodbye again to a very dear friend. That has taught me a lot. But for 2021, I'm just going to be Big Daddy in spades twice, whatever I have to do to make people in this world understand that there's a better way than negative. And you got to open up your eyes, you got to open up your ears, and you just have to learn that it's not about you. What we do here, everybody that's in these 4 squares, we're all about everybody else, because weddings are about your bride and groom and their families. Your bar bat mitzvahs are about this young lady or this young gentleman that are becoming a man and a woman. And life right now, you are never promised tomorrow, my friends. Enjoy each and every day that you can as positively you can. And Mr. Michael Langsner, Mr. Jeff Scott Gould, Miss Jamie, I love you. And my co-host, my main man, you all are my main people. You know that.
We love you.
But Jordan, we are all in this together. DJ Times, thank you. Everybody here, thank you. We done.
We appreciate you.
Can we
Hey,
take-
wait, hold up for a picture. Hold on.
Oh yeah, please hold.
Please hold for a picture.
Please hold.
And I think we should dedicate this entire segment here to Mr. Richard Mills and DBAD.
Yes.
Let his legacy live on.
Huge,
Oh,
huge. Our brother in arms, baby.
He gave us a lot of positivity, and that's what we want to pass on.
100%, man.
Live life like there's no tomorrow. Live life like Richard Mills, because that man did it the right way.
And
that's all
don't
we
be
can do. Dick!
We'll see you later.
Peace.